You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold fans. Oh my gosh. Hope Logan is coming unraveled. And she shocked her mom with some outrageous declarations already this week. And we're so early in the week. It's hard for me to see any other outcome but Steffy and Ridge refiring her as soon as they're back in power. Is Belinda from Soap Dirt. And we're going to talk about what is next for Hope once the power she has craved for so long slips through her fingers and she experiences a fiery fall from the top. But please subscribe if you're not following us. So after Brooke Logan's campaign to shatter Carter's confidence in the coup worked, we've seen Hope angry, hurt, and ranting. Carter telling Hope they should just go out on top, give back the company, and say sorry just sent her reeling. She had just told Steffy she needed to adjust to the reality that Carter and Brooke would be running Forrester Creations from now on. Hope was so confident that nothing would or could shake their stolen power. So when Carter said that to her about just giving it back, I think it was like a punch in the gut to Hope. You know, she's picturing what happens if Carter gives back the company and what that means for her. And it's nothing good. This is the most dire outcome for Hope. The only way her life stays the way she wants it is if Carter keeps running the LLC and Brooke keeps being the CEO and Steffy and Ridge stay gone. But to be honest, I think Hope's in denial, thinking that they could steal Forrester and keep it away from the family permanently, as if they wouldn't fight tooth and nail until they got it back. You know, it was overly optimistic for her to think that she and Carter would be in charge at the fashion house just indefinitely, something they stole. They clearly stole. And now Hope's boyfriend just shook her to the core and is delivering her worst nightmare. It was bad enough when Steffy canceled her line and fired her. You know, Hope was devastated when Ridge, Steffy, and Charlie basically perp walked her to the elevator. She was crushed. And now, you know, Hope's envisioning this happening all over again, being refired by Steffy, losing hope for the future again. That'd be even worse the second time around. And Hope knows that's what's coming unless she can stop this. Given that Ridge blamed Hope for Carter stealing his company, called her the B word and all that, and Steffy was the one intent on canceling her line with Eric and Ridge and Carter's, buy-in, because Carter was all about canceling the line until he wanted to start dating her, I have no doubt it's going to happen again. We'll see. Unless Carter can work out some deal to keep Hope's job as part of handing back the company voluntarily, I can't see Ridge and Steffy keeping her once they're back in power, and I don't see them agreeing to that, but we'll see. So if everything works out this way, we're going to see a fiery and painful fall for Hope. She would go from feeling all powerful to totally powerless all over again. So assuming that is what happens, because it seems likely, not guaranteed, but likely, what's next for Hope? If she's kicked to the curb by the Forresters when they get their company back, what does that mean for her personally and professionally? First of all, there's the question of what will Hope do for a job if Steffy and Ridge cancel her line again and refire her. I know Steffy's counting the days until she gets that co-CEO spot back and can call Charlie and say, escort Hope out of the building. Ridge is too. And in case you are unfamiliar with Hope's employment history, she has one company on her resume. She has never worked anywhere else. She didn't go to college that I recall. She was 17 when she got her initial internship at Forrester Creations and has stayed there. So what can she do if she can't be there? I see a couple of paths where she can get another job without going back to college as an adult or getting some training. First, her ex-father-in-law, Bill Spencer, would probably give her a job. Hope would be a really good fit for Eye on Fashion. Can you imagine her writing blistering, harsh reviews of Forrester Creations designs because she'll be super salty and vengeful? I think that would be great. Otherwise, her dad Deacon would give her a job. It would be a super far fall for Hope, though, to go from having her own fashion line to being a hostess or a waitress at Il Giardino. But Deacon would hire Hope in a heartbeat. I mean, he'd create a job for her, but I like the idea of her at Eye on Fashion. Second, there's the question of Hope's love life. Although she told Carter she loves him, I don't buy it. I never have. They were seeing each other for about half a minute when she first said it. Plus, Hope had tapped the brakes on them getting intimate, but then when Carter pledged to save her line, well, they were in the sheets. It all felt to me just accelerated and forced on her part. I mean, Carter's always desperate like that. But if you remember, Hope was so hot for Thomas, said he was like no other man, but it still took her forever to admit she loved him. And she and Carter had zero past attraction. He had been dating her aunt, and then bam, insta romance with them, insta love. With a foundation already shaky like that, I don't see Hope and Carter working out, especially not if she sees him as the architect of her downfall because he hands the company back. Hope was horrified last week when Carter suggested giving back the company. Then this week, she saw him bro-hugging with Ridge, and she's going to lose it. I just cannot see them staying together, especially not with Daphne so into Carter and making a play for him. If Hope is raging at him and Daphne is petting him and saying how proud of him she is, we all know where Carter's going to turn. With Hope, maybe single soon, there's a few options. Of course, there's lonely Liam, waffle boy. 2, there's Thomas, if they ever bring him back from overseas. And 3rd, a long shot, if the Luna reveal wrecks Steffy and Finn's marriage, Hope can go back to chasing him, and she might do it for payback on Steffy, which would be fun, but her romantic prospects seem limited by the small cast of characters right now. And 3rd, there's the question of what else could happen to her. Will she lose her home? More than anything, Brooke wants to win Ridge back from Taylor, but he said he won't live on the same property where Hope is, the woman who pushed Carter to steal his company from his perspective. And if push came to shove, I wonder, would Brooke actually suggest Hope needs to move out on her own? If you think about it, Hope's never lived on her own like an adult. She's never worked anywhere else. Her life experience is pretty narrow in many regards, and you'd like to think Brooke wouldn't toss out Hope, but she's kind of seeing her daughter in another light these days because Hope was ranting at Brooke on a recent episode that she won't let Ridge take advantage of Carter's goodness. Hope is in full denial that she and Carter did anything wrong. She sees them as the victims and the heroes, and I saw how horrified Brooke was when Hope was talking about protecting Carter from himself. Hope basically told her mom she'd do whatever she had to do to make sure nobody talked Carter into giving back FC. And of course, Hope doesn't know Brooke is the one that pushed him to this point. And at some point, Hope's going to push Brooke too far, and she may want to shake some sense into her daughter. And if Hope cannot admit what Brooke knows, that they did a bad thing and they need to make it right, well, Brooke might think that Hope needs a reality check, and that might include pushing her baby bird out of the nest. The fallout from Carter handing back the company could be Hope losing her job and her line again, losing Carter, whether he walks away or she does, and possibly losing her little cabin if Brooke thinks some tough love is required. I will say that I think the least likely of these is Brooke telling Hope to move out. But the other two, though, seem much likelier to happen.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.